trees, checking pants, checking seeds, sipping herbal tea, and fight for menstrual equity. Sheesh. Hey, I get cramps at. Get cramps at. Get cramps. You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
Hello, everybody. Happy Menstruation Monday. We have made it to Monday, April 8th, and we had a bye week last week. It was our 1-year anniversary with Kick Cramps as the actual organization, and we just took that time to make sure that we added more resources for you at our resource center, which you will have the link to that in the description of this episode. But we want to go ahead and pick back up this week in honor of Minority Health Awareness Month and Alcohol Awareness Month, which are the two themes we will be focusing on in the month of April. So welcome to today's episode. We have made it to episode 5, which is Menstruators of Color and Uterine Diagnosis. So since we are focusing on Minority Health Awareness Month, we definitely want to give you guys some insight of what's going on with minorities when it comes to the menstrual cycle and uterine health outcomes. All right, guys, you know, we like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmations, and M representing manifestations. And the I am power statement for today is I am acknowledging cultural habits that may be the cause of womb issues. Therefore, I am willing to learn new methods to prevent further suffering. All right, guys, Ashe. So there it is. The quote of the day is, sorry, there's no magical bullet. You got to eat healthy and live healthy to be healthy and look healthy. End of story. By Morgan Spurlock. I absolutely love that quote. Reason being, it's the truth. A lot of people, I know society has quick remedies, overnight sensations that can help you just overcome anything that you're dealing with. And that's just not how the real world works. All right, guys, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes discipline, and it takes you being focused. So just think about it. If you're in your 20s, you've been developing habits for the last 2 decades. If you're in your 30s, 3 decades, 40s, 4 decades, so on and so forth. So it may take a little bit more time to reverse some of the issues that you may be experiencing. So that's something you need to keep in the forefront of your mind as you're going through your menstrual cycle journey. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Now, typically I'm sipping on an elixir, our cramp elixir, which is our top seller with Kick Cramps, as it has all the great herbal remedies that can help decrease menstrual cycle symptoms. I am actually sipping on a smoothie today. I had the opportunity to have my wife surprise me with the smoothie before I started recording, so let me take a sip of that to go ahead and get started so I can put my own nutrients in my body. All right, guys, again, Minority Health Awareness Month. So, uterine diagnosis impacting menstruators of colors. Menstruators of color. So this could be a melanated person, a person that is identifies as being Black or African American, Asian descent, whether you're Korean, Japanese, Indian, anywhere in Asia, also Latina, and also Latin, because we want to give shout out to those who menstruate. So not just women, but those who menstruate. And so we just want to definitely just give some stats to you guys and bring to light and recognize the alarming numbers in menstruators of colors. All right, so let's start off with fibroids. Now, studies have indicated that up to 80% of African American women will develop fibroids by the age of 50, making it a prevalent health concern. Now, according to the USA fibroid centers, Black women are more likely to be affected at early ages, experience a delay in diagnosis. So they might have been diagnosed with something else, or they just told like, hey, you just have really bad period cramps, just wait it out. Everything will be okay. It's normal. Develop a great number of fibroids, have fibroids with higher growth rates, hospitalized due to fibroids, require blood transfusions because of heavy bleeding, which is a level of menorrhagia. Treat fibroids with surgical intervention, meaning that a hysterectomy is often suggested to people of color and those who menstruate in general, but definitely to people of color. The numbers are extremely high and is just not the best option for your first recommendation. Once you remove, if you have a partial hysterectomy, that is removing your uterus. If you have a full hysterectomy, you're removing your uterus and your cervix. Once you remove that vital organ from the body, you would then start to experience other side effects in the body that can affect other areas of health with your body as well. And you have to be mindful of the hormone imbalance that you would then experience, that your uterus actually helps to keep regulated within the body. All right, guys. So hereditary elements may increase this tendency among people of color. So that means a lot of the cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, things that these cultures are conditioned to. So maybe in a African American household, maybe there's certain foods that you like to eat that might not be the best for you. Maybe in a Latin household, maybe it's a religious belief and tradition that you must abide by. I know in a lot of Asian households, especially I have some Indian friends and some Muslim friends that have had to make certain changes because of the religious and the cultural beliefs, certain things that they're not able to talk about or discuss, which makes menstruation a taboo in that culture. All right, guys. So it's all about unlearning to relearn. Yes, we might abide by what we were taught within our culture, within our families. However, those might not be the best option. So it's great for you to do your own research and look into see if these things that I'm still doing, the things that I'm eating, the habits that I'm practicing, the things that I'm drinking, the household products that I'm using, the toiletries that I'm using, are these things really beneficial for my body? This is when you look at your nutrition labels. This is when you look at the labels on the back of each product. And if you don't know that ingredient, we've recommended to you guys plenty of times before. Look up that ingredient. If you have time to scroll on Instagram, you got time to go make an Amazon purchase, you got time to sit on the phone or text with your friends, you have time to invest in your health. All right. So several studies suggest that women with fibroids experience greater overall lifetime stress, which may be a trigger. Now, developing best stress relieving habits would be a great option here, whether journaling, doing yoga, breath work, meditation, releasing invaluable factors that do not serve you, whether they're people, places, or things, just figuring out what works best for you. Even investing in a mental health expert, a therapist, or a counselor, or somebody that can help you as well with your mental health. Now, some evidence suggests that environmental factors such as diet may increase the risk of why people develop fibroids. So eating a healthy and nutritious diet is very beneficial for you. All colors throughout your plate, meaning having something green, yellow, orange, red, purple, yellow on your plate, mixing that up throughout the day, making sure you're eating from all the applicable food groups, making sure you're taking in your macronutrients, which are plant proteins, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and water. So very, very important. Of course, being a nutritionist, for last month, for Nutrition Awareness Month, we gave you guys a lot of options. And you can also go to our resource center, which will give you applicable options as well. Now, another study indicated that Black women with fibroids have a vitamin D deficiency due to darker skin. So we need to take in more sunlight for those individuals who have darker skin. And there are Latin women who have darker skin. There are Asian women who have darker skin. So this is beneficial to all of us that have melanated skin. They tell you not to go into the sunlight. You need to put on sunblock. I hear that. I hear what you're talking about. But the sunscreen actually blocks away the vitamin D that your body needs to absorb directly from the sun. So it is beneficial 20 to 30 minutes daily to get direct sunlight onto your skin, giving your body time to digest and absorb that vitamin D, and for that vitamin D to work with other nutrients within your body that can also help decrease these uterine ailments. All right. And then a study of more than 23,000 Black women found an increased risk of fibroids among those with the longest and most frequent use of hair relaxers. We were just talking about the products that you use. It is very popular in the African American household that we were taught to relax our hair, to have straightened hair, to have hair that is easily manageable, that you can go to work and look presentable as far as the eyes of capitalists, racist, and people trying to control what other cultures should be doing. So it is very imperative to let go of the relaxers. There's too many chemicals, along with like hair dyes and hair products that have really, really high levels of chemicals and toxins in it. These contribute to uterine health issues and other issues in the body, since it's directly going onto the scalp, brain issues, memory issues, so Alzheimer's, brain cancers, things of that sort you want to be aware of. And also those chemicals can still have a chemical reaction in the body that can have a direct effect on your mental health. So it's very important to use all natural and organic products, or try to make your own products. All right, guys. So a couple of more details about fibroids. I also have that what I mentioned earlier about the 80% of women will more than likely experience fibroids. That came from the Griot. And then another source I have here is from Huang and her team that did an actual study, but it's also stated that fibroids are more prevalent in Asian, Black, and Latino women in more than in any other ethnicity. And that was a study that was conducted in 2023. So again, just things to be mindful of for Minority Health Month. Now let's talk about endometriosis. Now, according to the Resilient Sister Project, the exact prevalence of endometriosis is not known, since many women may have the conditions without symptoms. Endometriosis is estimated to affect 3 to 18% of women in the United States. Now, it's also estimated that somewhere between 20 to 50% of women being treated for infertility actually have endometriosis, and up to 80% of women with chronic pelvic pain may be affected with endometriosis. So again, you might go to the doctor, they're letting you know like, hey, it's normal for you to have that pain. All menstruators get it. And really and truly, you really could be suffering from endometriosis. Now, a study by the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology reported that 40% of Black women who were told that they had pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID, actually had endometriosis. We just mentioned the misdiagnosis, or like, hey, those symptoms are okay. And these are our physicians that are telling us this. So it's always good to go to an OBGYN or a physician that you trust, somebody that is a representation of yourself, and that can give you knowledge on your culture, on your history. All right, guys, there's nothing wrong with looking at reviews, and there's nothing wrong with testing out different physicians and OBGYNs. You don't have to just stick with one person because you were able to get an appointment. You have to find the person that works best for you and your symptoms and even your family history. All right. Now, endometriosis is also among the leading causes of infertility in Black women, and that was discovered by the National Institute of Health here in the United States. All right. So, a couple of other information details about endometriosis I want to touch in on is that according to the data from the Ministry of Health, SSA, in 2022, it is estimated that in Mexico, endometriosis affects more than 7 million girls, women, and menstruating people. So we were talking about the United States. We started talking about different countries and continents. I'm sorry, different continents, but now we're touching on a specific country. In Mexico alone, 7 million individuals are suffering from endometriosis. That's an alarming number. And instead of us trying to say, hey, let's have this surgery, or if you have a baby, it should work out, or take this medication and that should work, we really need to be honing in on what is the genesis, what is the onset, and what is causing this. And it typically has to do with what you're doing on a daily basis, which typically goes with eating, drinking, the products that you're using, the habits that you're developing. So again, things for us to be mindful of shifting our mind, unconditioning ourselves from things that we've learned throughout our entire life, and doing what's best for our bodies. All right, guys? So let's talk about PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. Now, according to the Resilient Sister Project, Black women are disproportionately affected by PCOS. And according to the National Institute of Health, approximately 5 million women of reproductive age in the United States are affected by this syndrome. We just said 7 million in Mexico with endometriosis. We have 5 million with PCOS. We got 80% of the United States dealing with menstrual health issues. These numbers are alarming, and we are here to do something about it. Kick cramps ass. All right, guys. So PCOS affects women of color more frequently and severely. And a family history may make you more susceptible to developing PCOS, but it's not guaranteed that you will get the disease. And this is by Shangler and their team back in 2021. So just because you have developed or seen certain habits from your family doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to get it. But even like with fibroids, you are individuals 2 to 3 times more likely to get it, according to worldhealth.org, to get a disease that their mother, their grandmother, or another menstruator in their family had. So that's something we do need to be mindful of. Now, there are current studies taking place that are evaluating PCOS and different ways to reduce its symptoms, along with endometriosis and fibroids. To give you a couple of extra different details, that we wanted to tap on for today is other uterine ailments include dysmenorrhea, which is heavy period cramps. We have menorrhagia, which is heavy menstrual bleeding or blood flow. Amenorrhea, which is the absence of your period. Now, a lot of athletes unfortunately suffer with amenorrhea, but there are a lot of other cultures, including the Asian culture and the Latin culture, that experience amenorrhea as well. So something to consider. And then we mentioned a couple of options in regards to infertility with endometriosis, but infertility is alarming in menstruators of color. You have a lot of individuals that are getting into their 30s and 40s and they're wanting to have babies, and they're being told, oh no, you're in geriatric age, you shouldn't be having a baby, when there are people that are still having babies in their 50s and 60s that have healthy bodies and healthy lifestyle habits with no issues. So it's very possible, if you do want to have a baby later in life than the traditional in your 20s and 30s, like society in the United States try to encourage or pressure you into, let's just be honest. However, there are opportunities for you to not be infertile, and you have to be mindful of the things that you consume. With it being Alcohol Awareness Month, be mindful that if you're drinking alcohol on a daily basis, this is going to affect you from being able to have a baby. You will find people that have tried multiple times during fertility that maybe miscarried, had a stillbirth, things of that sort. And we want to definitely hone in on what's the cause of that. There are ample amounts of research in the National Institute of Health that discuss the prevalence of alcohol in the body and how many years you've consumed it and how that does have an effect on you becoming fertile later in life. Another prominent factor that we want to consider when it comes to fertility is birth control. A lot of birth control, we're offered it because of to regulate your cycle, because you want to protect yourself. You want to be able to have sexual intercourse and be able not to get pregnant. But we want to be mindful that if you are putting a chemical in your body that's causing you from getting pregnant, and if you take that chemical or medication for several years and even past a decade, then you have to be mindful of the potential side effects that could lead to infertility. All right, guys. Now, there we have a plethora of womb terminology options on our inside of our resource center. Again, that link is going to be in the description of the episode. But that that womb terminology will assist you with learning other factors that could contribute to uterine ailments. All right, guys. So we just want to go ahead and recap for today. We did want to discuss the menstruators of color and the uterine health issues that they're having. Just to close out with a couple of quotes, I did want to let you know that I did look into a study by Mao and their team in 2022, and they were able to distinguish that 70% of Asian girls, women, and menstruators in the actual continent of Asia experience period pain, with 20% of them experience other uterine ailments, including dysmenorrhea, amenorrhea, and menorrhagia. But 80% of Black and Latin girls, women, and menstruators experience severe cramps and PMS symptoms in the United States. So we've talked about different continents, we've talked about different countries, and it seems like we're having the same issue across the board. All right, guys. So again, leaning into what are our daily habits? What are we eating? What are we drinking? What products are we using? What menstrual hygiene products are we using? What lifestyle habits are we developing? Are we moving on a daily basis, getting a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise? Or are we sitting on the couch just scrolling on social media? Are we actually getting up and taking time on a Sunday to potentially meal prep for the week so we can ensure that we're eating healthy, nutritious meals all week? Or are we just shopping or going to brunch or hanging out and utilizing that time that, yeah, it's fun in that moment, but it could have been more valuable for you to invest in your health? All right, guys. So again, we are in Minority Health Awareness Month and Alcohol Awareness Month. So we will be discussing that again for the remainder of the month. With our resource center, you're able to check out our blog, book suggestions that we have where we talk about herbs, nutrition, and other options that assist with wound healing. We have our exercise moves. That is a link to our direct channel on YouTube. We have our menstrual blood chart, so it could tell you what the different colors mean when your blood changes colors. We have recipes for you. We have reports for you that talks about our impact for 2023. We have research. So a lot of these articles that we have discussed so far in our podcast is listed in our resource center, where you could take a deep dive more into it and learn applicable details. We have tips for you, tips that we use to conquer our menstrual cycle journey, tips that I give to my clients to conquer their menstrual cycle journey. So definitely take a gander. We mentioned earlier about the womb terminology that's listed in our resource center. We also have our wellness referrals, so wellness professionals that we use or that we like to refer to other people. And then we have our yoga moves. So our yoga moves is related to our YouTube channel as well. So much in the resource center, absolutely 100% free for you to use and to help you through your menstrual cycle journey. So we are still accepting listeners' mail, so feel free to comment on this episode if you would like, or if you would like a more personal interaction with us, then feel free to contact us via email at contact@kickcrampsass.org, and I'll have that listed in the description of the episode. All right, guys. So again, today to recap, we talked about menstruators of color and uterine diagnosis on this good old Menstruation Monday. Be sure to like our podcast, share it with somebody that you feel like that can resonate with it, and be sure to subscribe to our newsletter where you can keep up with the latest news, events, and resources that is helpful for you. By subscribing to our website, you're able to get a 15% discount off of your first purchase with us, whether that's products or services. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we have other additional content that could be beneficial for you, and we have many great projects coming in the near future. All right, guys. If there's not anything else, we want to manifest a positive, productive, and peaceful remainder of the week for you and with your menstrual journey. And if there's not anything else, we'll be talking to you on next Monday, April 15th. And peace, guys.